I also think that a real physical guy is kind of a unicorn too, because when someone is really physical, it's like they stick out for a job that they do.
So I want to talk a little bit about like the how to prepare kids to hit or like hitting techniques or whatever, because I know they do like checking clinics and this kind of thing. I never did a hitting clinic, and I don't know like what exactly how they're taught or how they're run. Like I get the gist, I think, but I don't know how effective it is. So like what are your just kind of thoughts generally about learning to hit properly, and learning to take hits properly when you start to get into those ages?
Yeah. See my face?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
see it.
My face is saying, like, I look like I'm weaned on a dill pickle, right? Because this is the thing, man. Like, I've had so many parents over the years ask about and I did a couple, and I'm like, it's useless. There's some basic principles you can teach, but what the checking clinics are. See, this is the thing. I like the fact that maybe proactively people have said, well, we should learn how to body check and take hits. Okay, that's fine. There are ways that you can teach a little bit, but the again, it comes back to what do we put? You throw fear. Like if you have to do a hit, what comes with the sentence is we're gonna put you in a body checking clinic so you know how to take a hit properly.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so you don't get hurt. You're telling kids that it's dangerous, and it's fine. It's fine. But to me, my experience is you can show someone. It's like you take someone into a boxing gym and you could say, this is how you throw a punch. Okay, so you throw punches on the bag or whatever, and then you spar, and and you can't find the, like, no, I'm not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I will or won't, right? Will he or won't he? Right? Are you willy or are you won't he? Kids will go into um, physical battles without thinking twice, and some kids they're just not going to. Some kids naturally can hit. Some kids are off balance and stuff. I'm being honest. I don't think you can teach that art to be really a good solid hitter. I, I think you can learn how to protect yourself, but it's like you got to be willing to engage
Yeah,
and do it at a pace.
yeah. This is a hard conversation because like maybe like this is where I'm dumb because we always had hitting. So like I don't know if maybe I did one hitting clinic. I don't know. I don't
You
know if
probably
I did.
didn't.
And like
They came out after you or just after you.
that's what I'm thinking. So like to me,
It's insurance.
right?
Like what it is for Hockey Canada. It's a due diligence. We did insurance. We showed people how to protect themselves or what body
Yeah, yeah.
contact
Like
is.
with
That's
most
what
things, it
is.
checks the
Yeah,
box and
checks the
whatever.
box.
But there's has to be a line of like some teaching. Like I actually don't know the answer. Like maybe I'm thinking when I was playing, so would some teaching have been better than none? And I don't know if the answer is yes or no.
No. The answer is yes,
Mhm.
but it's not a whole clinic. I mean, you
Yeah.
can.
So
I guess.
what?
I
So
guess
like,
you
what
can.
do you do? Like, what is the?
Well, you can show how to roll off of checks,
Mhm.
right? Like if you're going to take contact, you show how to get tight to the boards.
Mhm.
You show how to, what can happen, how if you're away from the boards. But a coach can do that.
This is what I'm saying. Like, is this like something?
So this is where I'm thinking coaching
Right.
or a guy that played hockey. You talk to the kids a little bit and show them some stuff. If you're going on the board showing how to roll off of hits, right? How to absorb hits, how to use your body as the retaliate first mentality,
Yeah.
right? Before you hit me, I hit you.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that, but I don't know. Like this is my experience. Okay, I'm not trying to be like.
No, I know. Just talk.
Yeah, this is my
here.
experience. Yeah. I've done them, and I noticed that. So like for example, like we brought bags out the one time, and some kids were willing to come down the wall, and you could hit them hard, and some kids would be coming, and they slow right up, parachute, and then you couldn't even get contact with them, and you weren't going to hurt them. 14 years old, man. But there's that innate thing that allows you to engage or not. And I'm not saying like necessarily like the kid that's not willing to go get contact won't be a good hockey player. Just he's not going to get in that very often. I just find like I just think it's a thing. I just think it's a thing. It's just like I said with boxing. It's like some guys will go into a boxing club and say, "Yeah, I like this," and learn how to punch. Okay, but are you willing to fight? Like, and a lot of people aren't willing to fight. So that kind of like, okay, so you know how to hold your hands up.
Right. And I
You
would I
know?
would agree with that. Like
Yeah.
there's because I remember I was never the guy that was looking for like a big hit. I learned like I coached it into my game over time. Like finish your hits. It's okay to hit guys. It's okay to not go for the puck and just go for the guy, and like those types of things I built into my game. And then just because of I was above average size, so I could actually hit guys decently hard, but it wasn't a frequent thing. But it was always like getting guys' ways, like that kind of stuff. And then other guys, I never had like that timing where other guys had that
Yeah,
timing
that's what
where
I'm
it's like
saying.
they could
It's
just
like
they just
for
had
the
it.
hitters,
Yeah.
it's an art. It's like being a goal scorer. You have it. Like, and you can look at a different type of body, right? You can look at a kid that's built like a fire hydrant. You could say, well, you wouldn't want to hit that guy, but if you hit him, he doesn't have the strength or the balance, or just doesn't work for hitting. But then you take the same body type on another kid with the same body type, and he just demolishes guys when he hits them. You can look at a tall, lanky kid that you wouldn't think is very strong, but he's really wiry, and the art of hitting, it's like it's heavy, good, like it's like it makes no sense, right? You see some big, thick guys that just they can't do it, or they don't want to do it, or they don't have the skill of hitting or physicality. So it's like the defending it would be more important. So this would be my comment with that, because I don't want to sound like don't do something. This is what I would say. Like if you go to these, I'd be, as a parent or as a coach, just be honest. And if you go to or I think they're mandatory now. So if you go to these things and just observe your son or the kids on the ice and just see who has like what they're learning, who's willing to engage when they do, like when they give you some contact, who's willing to engage, and see who, and then actually see if it changed anything. That's what I would say. I mean, I'm not saying don't do it for sure. That'd be irresponsible and stupid. I mean, it can't hurt. It'd be like not sending your kid to the boxing gym because you don't think he'd get in a fight anyways. Like if you like, might as well figure something out. So, and maybe they pick something out of it, which would be a benefit for sure. But my experience is that if they don't have the will to get into the dirty areas, or to take a little bit of punishment, or take a hit for the team or whatever, then they probably won't.
Yeah, I would agree. So I think I want to just finish on a couple like technical things that I thought of um, with hitting, and these kind of to your point, like if you go to these clinics or whatever, or your coach is doing a hitting practice or whatever, like these are some things maybe more as a parent or as a player, if you are listening as a player, like that you can think about in terms of like the technical parts, and that's kind of what I'll finish on for today. So um, I guess the first thing is like when you go to deliver the check or absorb the check, it's that like low body position, like that balance and power thing we always talk about, whether you're executing a skill of any sort with the puck, passing, shooting, hitting, anything. It's the same. It's that same posture. The timing of hits, which, like I just said, I never had it. I never had the timing. I could run routes just with the flow of the game, but I could never see like, oh, yep, this guy is going to be coming across soon, so I'm going to go meet him over there. I didn't have that, but that's something that you can look at if your kid has that timing or not. Taking proper angles to approach the hits, where you're contacting the actual person. So a lot of guys, I noticed this with young kids, like they'll go into a hit standing up almost, and their arms are coming up like towards the top of the shoulders, where it's like you can't really deliver it. So it's like that low, either shoulder to shoulder, shoulder to chest, hip to hip, like whichever way, whichever kind of hit you're delivering. If you do end up hitting more in front, it's like that extension of the arms, like throwing the hit to finish through the hit. And then that goes with the follow through, and then kind of adapting to the person that you're hitting, because like some types of hits are better suited for certain guys than others, or certain situations, right? So if a guy's in a certain position, maybe it's a shoulder to shoulder. If he's not, if he's in a different position, maybe it's a hip to hip, maybe it's a hands, depending on
Yeah.
the game. And then obviously you need to know the rules. Like this is one thing with the young kids. You
Good
have
point.
to, yeah, like you need to know what can I do and can't I do. And like I said, like, as adults, sometimes we take these things for granted. Like kids just know, like you know the rules. Like you know you can't hit guys from behind. It's like, do they know that? Like maybe they don't
Yeah,
know
I
that,
mean,
right?
sometimes the reaction is just too late. That I don't
Yeah.
think people mean to.
No, not
Sometimes you
necessarily,
see it
but
happen, and you go, ah, they
Oh,
know they
I
did it,
for
but
sure,
yeah,
because I remember that happening too. Like you see it in the NHL happen all the time. Not even necessarily hitting, but like a trip. It's like they didn't mean to have their stick, and the guy falls, and they're just like, oh my god, like right. But knowing those things, like knowing where the lines are, and there's like an element too, because when kids can start to be violent, they get excited about it. And I think you have to teach a bit of like that, like respecting your opponents and not being the dirty guy, or how to toe the line a little bit. Like when you can get away with a little extra shot versus not. Like it's important to learn those things. And then last thing, maybe on like the defensive side of it would be, you mentioned it kind of before. This is kind of what I guess I'll finish on is, you need, like, nobody should get a free lunch around you. So if a guy is coming to hit you, like you said, like you give them a shot, or they hit you and you give them a little extra something. It's like, it's gonna hurt you to hit me, and it's gonna hurt
yeah.
you if I hit you.
Or you got to come
You
come
know?
through something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So I think that's
yeah,
the last thing,
yeah,
like on the defensive side of it, is like
yeah,
teach the kid to like be willing to engage with a little extra.
yeah.
Because
And
that's,
learning how to roll off checks is a good thing too.
yeah,
Like
rolling off checks.
it's a good thing.
Yeah.
So I think probably the way to look at contact, especially when you're first starting out, is don't necessarily try to take someone's head off every time. You said something really good. It's about angles. If you're trying to, like, what's the goal of body checking? The goal of body checking is, well, it could be to intimidate. That's fine, but the real goal of it is, if I go and hit you and you still make an outlet pass, or you make a play that the puck goes in the back of that, was that hit a good hit or a bad hit? So the goal, like, that's what the intention of hitting is. There's got to be a purpose to it. Now, like I said, it could be to intimidate. Like, if, for example, if you have a line that could, or a team that could get on defensemen and just hammer them, you wear them out. So there's some good in just being really physical, but the purpose of hitting is to get the puck, separate the guy from the puck. So that's number one. So if you go straight angles on someone, you've made that a 50-50, and probably you're going to lose because he can out juke you, right? Typically. So you have to learn about angles. So basically, I can't do it here because I'm not on the ice, but it's like taking angles kind of almost underneath them. As you're approaching your hit, what you're trying to do is, or contact, let's call it contact. What you're trying to do is take them to the boards, or take their hands away so they can't make a play. So as you're doing that, your stick should be on the ice, should be underneath the stick so you can lift, and you're skating through his hands. So what that is, it's contact. Now, if you can do that successfully, now if you want to do it in a more physical manner, now you can start adding, like a little bit of push to it. And you might find that you're not very good at it. You might find that that's a skill of yours. So that would be the first thing that I would do when it comes to body checking. Like, I don't. Here's the thing: everybody, not everybody, people love when they play. I can't wait to hit someone. Then they realize it's like fighting, right? I can't wait to get in a fight, and then it doesn't happen, because it's like, when it's real, it's real. You either have it or you don't. So that's what I would suggest to people: is learn how to take good angles, and you can learn that from an early age, right? When you're a 6-year-old or a 10-year-old, whatever it is, when you're hunting pucks down, or you're trying to take pucks away from people, still go through the hands and lift the puck, and then the next element is to take the body. So it's not really that big of a deal. So that's what that is. And then defensively, of course, yes, have your hands up, and then the same thing when you're taking a puck is find the proper routes so you don't get out angled.
Yeah, you know what? That we probably should have started with that, like the purpose of the hit. Like that's such a, we've talked about that before, but that's such a important thing. Like, why are you trying to do this? You're trying to separate the puck. That is the thing that you're trying to do. That's the point of it. You know. So I think that's really important. And you find guys in the NHL that are really good at that too. Like I'm thinking of Bergeron, Datsuk.
There's tons of guys,
Normally like
man.
these sulky guys. These are the guys where it's like they're not throwing the booming checks here and there, but they're just always getting pucks away. They're always turning pucks over, and it's not because necessarily they're hammering guys. It's just they're getting, like, the thing I remember hearing when I was young was like stick on stick, body to body kind of thing. Where it's like they're getting in the way of the puck, and then they're clipping out the guy to finish that play off.
See, I think, like, I don't think I'm wrong. Um, I think being a goal scorer at a high level is a really difficult thing to do. So when you have a really good goal scorer, true goal scorer, they tend to get drafted fairly high, and they tend to be like special players in the league, right? I also think that a real physical guy is kind of a unicorn too, because when someone is really physical, it's like they stick out for a job that they do. But as a goal scorer, if goal scoring was so easy and simple, then everybody would do it. Same with the physicality. So like when people want their kids, or the kid wants to be just tougher or more physical and stuff, it's like it's a skill. It's a skill. There's certain guys on certain teams that you have to keep your head up. They bring that element. It's of a skill, and they punish people all the time. But it's not every guy does it. But everybody has the ability to be physical. But it might not just be like the heaviness or the intimidating type, right? Like the warrior type. But you still got to get in those battles, and that's the main thing.
Yeah, you can